Hello baseball fans, and welcome back to BBSN. And this game we are back to our Strat Time Machine project featuring the 1922 St. Louis Browns traveling forward to 1977. And they are prepared for Game 3 of their opening weekend series against the visiting Chicago White Sox. And basically lineups for the Sox, same as it was the first two games, with one exception. Ralph Garr leading off, playing left, Alan Bannister at short, George Orta at second, Richie Zisk hitting cleanup in right, Jim Spencer at first base, and taking over for Oscar Gamble today at DH will be Lamar Johnson. Eric Soderholm remains at third, Chet Lemon in center, and Brian Downing catching. And for the Brownies, the lineup is the same as the first two games. Jack Tobin in right field, Frank Ellerby at third, Hall of Famer George Sisler at first, Ken Williams in left, Baby Doll Jacobson in center, Marty McManus at second, Hank Severide catching, Chick Shorten will be the DH, and Wally Gerber the shortstop. And pitching today, starting for the hometown Browns, will be Ray Culp. Culp in 1922 went 14-4 with a 3.93 ERA. And for the visiting White Sox, Steve Stone will be on the mound. And in 1977, he was 15-12 with a 4.51 ERA over 31 starts. So, formalities out of the way. Anthem has been sung. Let's play ball. And pitch to Garza 1-5. That'll be a fly ball to center field, one down. That brings up Alan Bannister. And Bannister, 4-3. That's going to be a walk. So the Sox have their first base runner on. And again, I'm using an auto steal system. And Bannister will try on a 3 or less, which he does not get. So George Orta, the third place batter. 2-3. That's going to be a pop out to second base. So F4 as McManus puts that away, 2 down. Cleanup hitter Richie Zisk looking to drive one deep, 4-9. And that's going to be a fly ball to left field, which Ken Williams will squeeze. And the Sox get a base runner, but nothing doing. And we'll head to the bottom of the second with no score. All right, Steve Stone takes his warm-up pitches, and Jack Tobin is ready to go. And pitch is going to be a 5-8, and struck him out. No, never mind. Triple, sorry, that's a split chance. And 5 will be a single instead. Getting my bearings going here early in the morning. So Tobin on at first, and he will try and steal with a roll of 3 or less. No. The way the Browns set their lineup was kind of interesting. Their best base runners, really Sisler and Williams, were the third and fourth place hitters in this lineup, and those two did run quite a bit. Frank Ellerby, 3-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. So I predicted the strikeout one batter early there. George Sisler now up. Sisler has struggled in this series thus far, not living up to his stellar numbers. 5-12, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base. And runner will move up. So Sisler goes down 3-1. And Tobin now resides at second base for Ken Williams. Cleanup hitter has a chance to drive home the game's first run. 5-8. And that's going to be a split chance, and that's going to be a triple off of Stone's card. So Tobin comes around easily, and the Browns, that is now their fourth triple in 3 games this season. And that propels them to a 1-0 lead. And Baby Doll Jacobson. And 2-5, and that'll be a fly ball to center field, so Stone gets out of it. But not before the Browns break out on top early again. We're through one. It's 1-0. And in researching Jacobson's rather interesting nickname of Baby Doll, kind of out of place for one, because especially for his time, he was a mammoth of a man in terms of a baseball player, clocking in at about 6'3" and 215, and that's a 4.9 dispenser. And that'll be a fly ball to left field that Williams puts away. So, you know, for really in today's game, he'd be considered a good-sized player, but back then he was a giant. And allegedly the nickname came into play, and that's a 2-5 to Lamar Johnson. And Johnson interrupts the Baby Doll Jacobson anecdote with a long shot to left field. And into the night, this game is tied at 1. He got all of that one, every stitch. So 1-1 now, Soderholm up. But back to the Jacobson story, he was apparently preparing to play in a minor league game, and there was a song with Doll in the title at the time that was quite popular, 2 and a 7, and that's a split chance, and that will be a single for Soderholm. And to start the game, he led off with a prodigious blast, and allegedly, and this is how Jacobson tells it, one of the female spectators made a comment, something to the effect of, "Look at that baby," and from that point on, he was known as Baby Doll. He kind of stuck. So that's the Reader's Digest version of the story for anyone who is interested. Chet Lemon, 1 out, 1 on, 1 in, and that's a 1 and a 2, and that'll be a fly ball to center field that the aforementioned Baby Doll puts away, and 2 down now with a runner on first. Brian Downing, the catcher, up, 3-8, and Downing, he takes one deep, and that one is into the stands as well. And 2 home runs for the White Sox here in the second inning. And Culp off to a shaky start. And Soderholm comes in ahead of Downing, and it is now 3-1 White Sox. So no doubting the offensive weaponry in this Browns lineup, but pitching, we saw it in yesterday's game, and today with Colts so far, not holding up their end of the bargain. 6 and a 10, and that's going to be a single. So the Sox striking early and often here, and Gar, he will go on a 4, and that's a 4. He's going to steal. So Gar is a C, and he has been held, and I use kind of a combination advanced basic rule there, putting an R modifier for Severide, which is -3. So C and -3 is going to be 1 to 8. He will be safe. And Severide guns him down. And mercifully that ends the inning. But not before the Sox strike 3 times on a couple of deep balls by Lamar Johnson and Brian Downing. And we will head to the bottom of the second inning. And our score, White Sox 3, Browns 1. So McManus up for the Browns now. We'll look to get them back in the game here. 2-7, and it's going to be a fly ball to left field. Gar puts that away, 1 down. Hank Severide, the catcher, up. And 5-8. And that's going to be a split chance, and that will be a single for Severide. So Stone does not have that result in a very opportune place on his card. And Severide will try and steal on a roll of 2. No dice. DH, Chip Shorten. And 4-11, that's going to be a walk. So pitching apparently not at a premium today, as the Sox had a big second inning and the Browns look to be mounting the threat of their own. And that's a 4-6. And that'll be a fly ball to left field, runners hold. So 2 down, and top of the order, Jack Tobin. Tobin singled his first time up and later came around to score. 6-11, and that'll be a fly ball X, and that's a 5, and guard is a 3. And that will be a fly out, so Gar takes care of the side himself out in left field. They do have 2 base runners but cannot cash in, and we're through 2 innings. And our score, White Sox 3 and Brownies 1. And Alan Bannister will lead off third for the Sox. 5-4. And that'll be a fly ball X to center and a roll of 9. Jacobson is a 1. And that'll be a fly out. One down now for George Orta, and Orta walked his first time up. 3-4, and that'll be a fly ball to right field. So 2 down. Whoops. And Big Richie Zisk, the Sox right fielder, will be the next batter. As Culp looks to get out of this inning unscathed. 6 and a 10, and that will be a single. So Culp is laying some balls out over the plate, and the Sox are not missing them today. Jim Spencer, the batter. 5-11, and that'll be a fly ball to right field X. And in right field, Tobin is a 2 and a 4. And that will be a fly out. So 1 hit, and the Sox leave 1 in the top of the third, go to the bottom of the third, still 3-1. And Frank Ellerby, third baseman for the Brownies, will lead things off against Stone. And here's the pitch. 3-7, and that will be a fly ball to left field. So the Browns unable to sustain any offense as George Sisler comes up, and Sisler again off to a rough start in this replay. 6-6, and that'll be a split chance, and that will be a single. So Sisler gets off a schneid with a little bit of help from Stone, and he will try and steal on a roll of 6 or less and does not get it. So 1 out, 1 on for Ken Williams. 5-6, and that will be a single. And Sisler is definitely going to try and make it to third here. 1-16, he's safe, and he is in there. So, runners at the corners, and Baby Doll Jacobson, the subject of today's Did You Know? 6 and 9. And that's going to be a ground ball to second base. And batter is out at first, but runners will advance. So Sisler comes in to score. Williams goes to second. And Baby Doll goes down 4-3, but gets the RBI. As the Brownies cut into the lead. Marty McManus, the second baseman, up, 110. And pops him up, and that'll go to third base. Soderholm puts that one away. So 3 are in the books, and we have another close one brewing here. The White Sox lead it 3-2. All right, head to the top of the fourth. Lamar Johnson, the man who open the scoring for the Sox here will be the first batter. And this announcer needs a sip of coffee. And 5-6. And Colt pops him up to shortstop. So Gerber says not this time, puts that one away. And Eric Soderholm the batter. Soderholm singled in the second and later scored on Brian Downing's moonshot. And 2-10. And Soderholm gets a hold of that one, and that one's not coming back into the left field bleachers. HR puffin stuff, and the third home run of the day for the Sox. And they are teeing off on Culp here. And that makes it a 4-2 game. So the Chi Sox with the long ball going. And Culp is disgusted as he gets ready to pitch to Lemon. 3-10. And that'll be a ground ball back to Culp. Over to first, 1-3. And we now have 2 down. And Brian Downing, who hit a 2-run shot back in the first. 6-9, and that's going to be, or 6-8, sorry, that'll be a single still. Downing is not a runner, so he will stay put. And the Browns do not have any action going in the bullpen. They are very limited in terms of relievers, only 3 on the roster, so Culp may just be in here for a beating if he can't get his act together. And 2-12, and that'll be a pop out to first base. Sisler puts that one away. So that ends the inning, but again, another home run for the Sox stakes them to a 4-2 lead. And Stoney back on the mound now as Hank Severide steps in to lead it off for the Brownies. 2-12, and that'll be a ground ball down to third base. Soderholm up with that over to first. 1 down. Chick Shorten the batter in the new role of designated hitter. 5 and a 9, and that's going to be a strikeout. Swinging it to knee cheese. That's a little homage there to my buddy Chris over at Strat-O-Matic, Delaware. And he does a lot of good stuff on his channel. If you haven't been there, check it out. 4 and a 5. That'll be a fly ball to center field, and that will end the inning. Yeah, Chris has not only Strat-O-Matic baseball, but also some Strat hockey and football as well. And very entertaining, does a great job on the game. So again, if you have not seen his channel or been over there, give him a look. And again, it's Strat-O-Matic Delaware. So top of the 5th now, and Alan Bannister will lead it off for the Sox. 6 and a 7. And that's a split chance, and that'll be a line out to second base. 1 down. And George Orta. One and a 5. And Orta singles. So Culp just cannot have an easy inning, and George will run on a roll of 1-3, which he does not get. And Richie Zisk, the cleanup batter, says, I want in on this long ball action. And 4 and a 4. And that will be on the catcher's card. And 18. And Severide is a 2. And that's going to be roll 20-sided die again. And again. And a 4 will be a wild pitch followed by a foul out. So Orta scampers down to second on the wild one. And for Richie, he will fly out to Severide. 2 down, runner on second base in scoring position for Jim Spencer. 6 and a 12. That'll be a ground ball to pitcher, and that will end the inning. So Culp once again flirts with danger but gets out of it. And we're going into the bottom of the fifth inning. Score remains White Sox 4 and the Brownies 2. Jack Tobin, 1 for 2 on the day, a single scored a run. 6-7, and that's a split chance, and that will be a single. And again, Tobin for a leadoff man, not a big runner, and he will stay put. Frank Ellerby, the batter, and deciding whether or not he wants to bunt, he will hit away. 3-2, and should have bunted. Line out into as many outs as possible. So Soderholm snares that, and back over to Spencer. And that will be an L5 DP. So 2 down now. And that's a buzzkill. Sisler, the batter. Got the wild dice hand roll working today. 2-12 will be a fly ball to right field. And that ends the fifth. So Ellerby kills a potential rally, lining into a double play. And we head to the sixth inning. And once again, Lamar Johnson will lead it off. And Johnson 4-7. And struck him out. So Culp, a small measure of revenge for Lamar opening the floodgates for the home run barrage back in the first. Or I'm sorry, second inning. And 1-9. That'll be a fly ball to center field. Jacobson puts that one away, 2 down. So let's see if we can get a 1-2-3 inning out of Culp now. Here's the pitch, 5-9. And of course not. It's going to be a split chance double for Chet Lemon. And that's his first hit of the day. So once again, the Sox have a runner in scoring position, 2 down, Brian Downing, 4-2, and that'll be a fly ball to right field X, and that's a 7. A 7, and Tobin is a 2, and that will be a fly out. So we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. And the White Sox are clinging to that 4-2 lead. Well, Stoney has been fairly solid the last few innings. Okay, Ken Williams, 1-9. That'll be a fly ball to center field that Lemon puts away. That's kind of been a theme in the first 2.5 games of the series is, you know, the powerful part of the Browns lineup has not been very consistent overall. 4-12, that's going to be a walk. So Baby Doll, and again, especially Sisler, who has an amazing card and just has not been able to find his groove. So Jacobson, he will run on a roll of 4. There we go. Baby Doll is running. Brian Downing, error rating of 3, which is a -2 on the auto hold. And Jacobson is an A. So we will have a 1-13. He'll be safe. And Jacobson steals it. As that throw is late and high. And now McManus with a runner in scoring position. Let's see what he can do. 1 and a 4, and that is a single. And Jacobson is definitely going to try and come around to score. 1-15, and just beats the throw in. So the RBI single for Marty McManus, and now the lead is down to a single run. 4-3 with Hank Severide up. That stolen base paying dividends. Once again, I'm wild. 3-10. And that'll be a ground ball to shortstop. And that's going to be a double play. 6-4-3. So Severide cannot keep the inning going, but the Browns edge closer. And we are through 6. Score is Chicago 4 and St. Louis 3. Back to the top of the order now, Ralph Garr for the Sox. Pitch from Colt, 2-5, and that will be a single. And Pruitt once again will get going. Garr will not try and steal in the St. Louis bullpen. Pruitt and Rasty Wright are up out there as Alan Bannister steps into the plate. 5 and a 7. Be a ground ball to second base X. And 10. 10 and a 1. And McManus has that. Flips it to Gerber over to first, and we have a 4-6-3 double play. So an opportune ground ball from Culp there, and there are 2 down for George Orta. 2-10, and that'll be a ground ball back to the pitcher. 1-3, and we head to the 7th inning stretch with the Sox clinging to that 1-run lead as Steve Stone comes back out. And it looks like in the Sox bullpen, Laren LeGros and Bart Johnson have begun to stretch out down there. In case they are needed, shorten. 3-3, and that'll be a ground ball to second base. 1 down, Wally Gerber the batter. Gerber on the day 0 for 2. He's flown out twice, 4-6. And that'll make a 3rd time. And 2nd time to left field. So 2 down, top of the order, and Jack Tobin up for the Brownies. Six, and that's going to be a split chance, and that will be a single for Tobin. So Tobin, that's his 3rd hit of the day. And he will stay put. He's off to actually a very solid start in this time machine campaign. Frank Ellerby lined into a double play his last time up. And 5-11. And that'll be a ground ball back to Stoney in 19. And Stone is a 3. So 19 and 3, and that's going to be a 2-base error on Stone. So Stevie throws that away, and that puts runners at 2nd and 3rd on the E1 with 2 down. And George Sisler, who is due, he is due, folks, has 1 hit today, but has not performed very well overall thus far in the series. And 1 and a 9, and due indeed a single +2. And Sisler has given the Browns a lead. Both earned runs as Tobin and Ellerby come around to score. And Big George takes advantage of the error, and our Brownies are back in front. And that's going to be a pitching change now for the Sox. And Bart Johnson is going to be the pitcher they elect to bring in here. You don't want to waste the closer LeGros at this point in time. So Stone ends up going 6 2/3 innings and gives up 5 runs, but 2 of them were unearned thanks to himself. And Bart Johnson will try and end this right here. So Sisler at first base. I'm sorry, Sisler at first base. And let's see if he tries to steal. He does not. And Ken Williams. I do not know what's up with my rolling hand today, people. 4 and a 7. And that's going to be a single. And Sisler with 2 outs is definitely going to try and score there. And he is a 1-16, 1-18 with 2 outs. And yet another unearned run is Ken Williams. Makes it 6-4. And those are both, that one is credited also to Stone. And again, another unearned run. So Baby Doll trying to keep it going, 4-8. And that's going to be a fly ball to left field. And finally the inning is over. But not before the Browns break out in a big way. 3 runs, all unearned due to an error by Stone. And that has given them a 6-4 lead as we head to the top of the 8th inning. And Culp looking a lot stronger than he did early in the game. We'll start it off to facing Richie Zisk, 1-9, and struck him out. So Culp feeling it now after that big inning by the Brownies. Comes out firing in the 8th. Zisk goes down. Spencer the batter. 6-8. And that's going to be a single. Nothing good happens in that column on Culp's card. Spencer, he's a 2. I'm going to make manager decision. He won't even think about trying to steal here. Lamar Johnson, he can tie it with 1 swing. He put 1 out earlier. 5-7. And that's going to be a ground ball, second base X. And again, McManus is a 1-10. And that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. So Culp bears down, and he is 1 inning away from pulling this one out. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, our score is 6-4 Browns. Bart Johnson comes back out, and he will face Marty McManus to lead off the home 8th. McManus thus far today has singled and flown out twice. 2-8, and that's going to be a split chance, and McManus puts one into the seats himself in the Browns' first home run of the game, and that gives them a little bit of breathing room there. It's now 7-4. There's a wall scraper there for Marty. Hank Severide the batter. 3-8. And ground ball to shortstop. 1 down. Chick Shorten, the designated hitter, up against Johnson. 5-3. And that'll be a fly ball to right field X. And Zisk is a 4-18. And roll 20-sided die again. Here we go. 13, and that will be a single. So Zisk, not exactly in possession of what one would call great wheels, cannot get to that. It drops, it shortens on. 1 down for Wally Gerber. And 4-4. It's going to be a fly ball to center. And 2 down now as we head back to the top of the order for Jack Tobin. And Mr. Tobin has been a thorn in the White Sox side today. He is 3 for 4 and has scored 2 runs. 2 3, and he's going to walk. So Jack cannot keep him off base. And Dave Hamilton now is up in the Sox bullpen as they do not like the way this is getting out of hand. 3-9. To Ellerby, struck him out. So the whiff, and that gets him out of the inning, but not before the Browns tack on yet another on a solo shot by Marty McManus. And we head to the top of the 9th inning, and our score, the Browns 7 and the White Sox 4. And the White Sox, for their last chance, will have the bottom of the order, Soderholm, Lemon, and Downing coming to the plate. Normally that would be fine, but this trio has been quite productive today with a couple of home runs. So Soderholm and Culp the pitch, 2-7. And that's a split chance. That'll be a single. And manager's decision will not roll for the steal there with a 3-run deficit. Shetland in the batter. 6-2. That'll be a ground ball to pitcher, and B will be a fielder's choice. So 1-4. Retires Soderholm, and Lemon now resides on first. 1 down. And Brian Downing has 2 hits on the day, including a 2-run shot back in the second, and it's 3-9 or 3-8. Sorry. And split chance again, and he just misses this. Ball is deep, deep, but Williams at the wall pulls it in. So Downing gave that one a jolt, but just got under it a tad and could not get his second round tripper of the day. So 2 down now, and Ralph Garr will be the last chance for the Sox to keep this alive. Pitch 1-11, ground ball to second base. McManus up with it over to Sisler, and the ball game is over. So the Browns fall to an early deficit in the second inning, but claw their way back into it. 3 big runs in the 7th, and then a salting home run from Marty McManus in the 8th to give them a little bit of a cushion. And they cruise home with a 7-4 win. Home runs on the day, again for the Sox. Lamar Johnson, Eric Soderholm, and Brian Downing went deep. And as previously mentioned, McManus went deep for the Browns. Your winner is Ray Culp. He is now 1-0 on the season, and the loser, Steve Stone. So it's been another game in the Strat Time Machine replay, 22 St. Louis Browns. And as we say in jiu-jitsu, let's roll. Have a good day, all.